We're talking with Arthur Sharp from the Canobolas Zone of the Rural Fire Service. We're today at Mandurama. What are we looking at here with equipment today, Arthur?
We've got a trittering machine here today, and we've been doing village protection hazard reduction work in previously identified areas where we'd come through some months ago and had a look and worked out where we could possibly assist the councils with reducing some of the hazards, enabling the councils to maintain it at later dates.
You mentioned Tritter. What is this machine?
If you heard of mulching, it's very similar to a mulching machine. Okay, well, that's probably the closest thing you can get to being environmentally friendly. It mulches the vegetation and puts it back on the ground as fertiliser, and there's no erosion problem with it because it hasn't denuded the soil at all. And it'll grind up anything up to about 150-200 millimetres in diameter in timber, and it can take out small saplings and so forth where the council's identified that these trees need to be removed because of their location and proximity to houses and so forth. And it takes out bushes and blackberries.
So what's left?
Mulch. Much like the garden mulch you would buy, like garden bark and leaves and anything that's chewed up. We do have difficulty in getting people to understand what trittering is and what mulching is, because it's probably, whilst it's not all that new, many people haven't seen it or ever heard of it. So.
Now, here in Mandurama, you've been doing some work behind the school. What have you been trying to do in this area? There
was a road easement behind the school. There was no road, just simply an easement that had previously been grazed years gone by. The grazing has long since left, and the block became overgrown. We've gone through the easement. It's a chain wide. We've gone down the easement and we've mulched all the grass and any rubbish bush and so forth in there, and pretty much turned it into an open woodland. Now that makes it accessible for fire trucks to come through in the event of fire, and assists us to protect the properties that adjoin that area.
How important is it to do property protection in areas behind, for example, this schoolhouse?
Look, any areas inside a village, and particularly in schoolhouses and so forth, it's always important to do that protection. This, during a fire season, if we needed to get in there, would enable access for fire trucks to come through and protect the life and property of the people in the village. Without that access, it makes it very difficult and unsafe for our firefighters to get in there.
Now, how many villages in the Canobolas Zone are you going to do with the Tritter?
I think we've got, we've identified 15 that needed some work to do. That was from across the 4 shires, Orange, Blaney, Cabon and Cowra. We've completed the ones in Cowra. We've done 2 villages in Blaney, and I think we've got 3 or 4 more yet to do in Blaney, and then we're moving into Orange and Cabon.
How valuable do you see the Tritter as part of an overall strategic hazard reduction program?
I think it has immense value, providing that it's supported further down the track with slashing the areas that we've reduced by trittering.
When you talk about slashing, how good does it make it so that a slasher can just pass through with those tree stumps and anything else? Does it cut them off at ground level?
Any tree stumps above greater than 150 or 200 millimetres in diameter will most likely still be there. The machine can't take them on usually if they're hardwood. That makes them difficult. Anything less than that will be ground off at ground level. It should make it a lot easier for slashers, and we're trying to make it that way so a slasher can come through it.
And is that the future goal, to reduce the use of the Tritter, given that you've been using it now for about 3 years? Are you starting to see some advancements in some of the villages where you've used it in that first year or 2?
We are seeing some advancements, but there hasn't been a lot of support in the first 12 months from councils to use it, because councils saw it as being similar to a slasher. But in the experience in the last couple of weeks with it, the council engineers that have come and looked at it in a couple of the shires have been quite amazed at what it can actually do, and they can see windows for it straight away in hazard reduction work to assist their slashers to clean up areas, and their slashers can work them.